So after their breakout horror film, Talk to Me, directors Danny and Michael Philippou are back with their next offering, Bring Her Back. Now, is this movie worth checking out, or should they have left her where she was?
Stay reliable, yeah?
Hey, what is up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to give you guys my review for A24's Bring Her Back. Now, if you remember not long ago when Talk to Me came out, I was not a huge fan of the film, but it took the country by storm. Look, this directing duo from Australia, Danny and Michael Philippou, burst onto the scene with this movie. Now, they had a very successful YouTube career leading up to it, but Talk to Me was really where a lot of people, especially here in the States, really got to know them. And that movie had a lot of jarring moments and really unique imagery and ideas, so it's not surprising why that movie caught on so well. I wasn't a huge fan, but I liked it well enough, and I definitely wanted to keep these guys on my radar following that movie. So when Bring Her Back was released, I decided, what the hell, I'll go check it out and see if they've improved whatsoever from Talk to Me. And I'm happy to say I think they have. So starting out with the pros here for Bring Her Back, the first one I have to mention is the cast, and in particular, Sally Hawkins. She gives the greatest performance I've ever seen her give. And I've seen Sally Hawkins in a lot. She is phenomenal in this movie. And it's such an interesting journey for this character. You're going to be conflicted at multiple points, and that is kind of the entire point of her character and her arc in this movie. It's really fascinating. Now, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I'm just going to say that Sally Hawkins really brought it in this movie. But I also have to mention Billy Barrett, who played Andy, and Sora Wong, who played Piper. Two characters that were fleshed out very well, and both actors gave great performances in this movie. You believe their relationship, they make you laugh, they make you sad, and you feel for them at multiple points throughout this movie in many different ways. So from top to bottom, really the three main actors we get in this movie, they do a phenomenal job. Another positive with this movie is the imagery and the effectiveness of some of it. And what I mean by that is, you've heard a lot of people talking about how this movie had some cringe-inducing moments. In like a, oh, I can't watch that way. There are definitely moments in this movie that if you have a weak stomach, you're probably going to want to turn away more than once. But it goes deeper than that. Even with someone like me that really can watch just about anything on screen, there were just truly wince-inducing moments in this movie where I was like, oh man, that's painful. There's really memorable imagery, there's great makeup effects, there's some amazing practical gore effects in this movie. Like, truly, visually speaking, this movie delivers the goods. But it especially delivers the goods if you're somebody that really wants to see something that's going to sit with you for a while. This movie absolutely has that. Another positive I have for this movie is really just the entire third act of the film. I think that when this movie really gets going, it is firing like on all cylinders. There's some great kills, there's some great effects, there's some nice twists and turns that the story takes, and it's really emotionally impactful. And I did not anticipate that going into this movie. See, I thought I was getting something that I didn't get. I never watched a trailer for this movie. I saw the imagery, I heard people talk about it, but I didn't really know anything aside from it was going to have to do with something with the occult. That's really all I knew. And I'm glad I went into this as blind as possible because I did not expect this movie to go where it did. But I've got to give a shout out to the third act of this movie because it really was off the rails in the best possible ways. Look, the movie is insanely professionally well made. It looks great. The actors are giving great performances. It makes sense. You can follow along with it. There's a lot to really, really like about this movie. Unfortunately, though, there are some cons, so let's get into them. So the first con I want to mention is really the first portion of this movie. It definitely takes some time to get going. And look, guys, I have talked about this in many reviews before. If you know me, you know I love a good slow burn. That is not at all the problem here. But I feel like the first half hour of this movie isn't even really a slow burn. It's just kind of like ho-hum, getting to know people. There's really no air of menace there. And I don't know, that was just me maybe. Maybe other people felt it, but I just didn't. So I feel like the movie takes a while to get its footing, and unfortunately I'm going to dock it for that, because although the third act of this movie is super engaging and exciting, it takes a while to get there, and it can definitely drag on you. Another con I have with this movie is kind of something I mentioned at the beginning about Sally Hawkins' performance. Look, she is so good in this movie, and you are conflicted at times, but I actually think that's a problem. See, I wasn't conflicted in the sense that I was like, oh, I should root for her or against her. I don't want to give too much away. I wasn't conflicted in that way. I knew exactly how I felt about this person. The con here is that I feel like the filmmakers at times tried to make you feel something for this character that I don't think the character deserved. Look, people in their lives are going to experience things that are insanely traumatic or sad or great, whatever it may be. I'm trying to be as coy as possible here. But that doesn't mean that if they take a complete 180 and they turn into an absolutely terrible person, that I should in any way sympathize with that person. And so, I don't know, I felt like although Sally is giving a fantastic performance, I feel like at times that was a mistake by the writers and directors of this movie to kind of make you feel certain things that really just are not right to feel. Like, they're immoral. But really my biggest gripe with this movie is leaving certain things unexplained. We don't really understand why Sally Hawkins goes from A to B. Like, how did you get here? Why? What led you to this? How did you come into contact with this? What gave you certain ideas? A lot of that is left ambiguous. Now, I know some people are like, oh, well, I love ambiguity in movies. Yeah, so do I, but when the entire plot hinges on a character making a certain decision, I feel like we have to know a little bit more about that decision and why, how you get there. Not the events that led you to, I want to make this decision. No, why is that the decision that you're making? What was it that you came into contact with? What did you study up on? Was something given to you? Is this folklore? Whatever it is. There needs to be more there, and there just wasn't enough of that there. We are led to accept it, and we do because it makes sense, but we don't know how this all really began, and that's a problem with this movie. It really is. So look, everybody, in summation, Bring Her Back is a really well-made film, and I think it's a step up from Talk to Me. I think it's got great performances. I think it makes you feel in ways that you didn't think you were going to feel. However, I feel like it takes a bit to get going, and I feel like the ambiguity for why characters make certain decisions actually hurts this film. Having said all of that, I still think it's better than Talk to Me. Because look, guys, aside from the fact that Talk to Me was introducing this hand as the conduit to conjure these spirits, I'd seen movies like that dozens of times. That was not very memorable whatsoever or original. This is a far more original idea. So I would give Bring Her Back 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I can confidently say that I do feel like this directing duo really has a bright future. But in my opinion, with these two films, they still have not struck gold yet. And I know it's in them. I can tell it's in them. I feel like another pass or two at some of their scripts really could make all the difference in the world. So I really hope that with this being successful as well, that they're not rushed out into doing another film without really giving it the time that it needs. I know that they are openly planning Talk to Me 2 or Talk to Me, but I hope that the time away from that first one gives them the opportunity to really tighten that idea up. Because if it's just another kind of rote demon possession movie, I'm just not into it. But I want to know what you guys thought down below in the comments section. Did you like Bring Her Back? Did you not? Do you prefer it to Talk to Me or do you not? Whatever it is, leave it down below. Let's discuss it together. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like on it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.